What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the World's Pink Horde. We are coming off of the fountain fully stocked with all of our Vision Essentials. We had another early wake-up call for some more promotional action that started us off into Worlds 2025 with our fan favorites, CFO, taking on HLE in our best-of-3 series to see who is going to get their fast pass to quarterfinals. Game 1 was a banger through and through that had a bunch of push and pull between the two teams, but the mid lane advantage from First Blood for Zika Zazir was the foundation that HLE needed to build their eventual win. Doggo's Ezreal was hitting all of the Mystic shots, True Shot barrages, and skill shots. Junja and Driver were trying their best to find the engages, to find the cleanups, to keep CFO in that game. They had a massive fight around Otacon that looked like it really could swing momentum to CFO, where they would try to hold on to that small advantage for the next few minutes. But a few picks and bad timers on backing would catch CFO out, eventually waterfalling into a Baron and the first Nexus take for Hanwha Life to take a little pressure off of their shoulders. Game 2 saw CFO take early advantages by setting up their own picks and plays, taking a handful of kills across the map before giving up their first death on a 3v1 dive on the top side. CFO stacking Drakes, still holding on to a small gold lead, somehow managed to completely biff the Rift Herald play, but not get punished for it, picking up a kill, getting the charge off, and increasing their lead to 3,000 gold.
CFO, a steak dinner prepared. They're going to throw down Shelly just to make sure that they retain it. Junja is going to drive her in, but we do have the wall being set up, and so it's going to have to be a different place to get a headache. Never mind, just swings by, just bypasses the wall, but then bypasses the turret! It's not what you want to see. There is the cease and desist, and Junja will immediately get punished, but he does have the subjugate, and Zeka just kind of evaporated off the back end. They still get the charge! How the hell did that work? That is so it looked like he missed!
Calculations, exactly. Atlas, how did you not see that?
Immediately following that chaos, HLE takes advantage back, picks up a couple of kills and a pick on Hongq, but CFO would take the neutral objective to walk away scot-free. HLE finally get the fight that they want, to get their first Drake, win the front-to-back fight, and noting that it worked so well the first time, they would just do it again, and again around Baron. And at that point, 4-item Viper could just not be touched, and they would walk it down to take the series 2-0 and move on to the next round. CFO does still have a fighting chance to move on, but will await the results of our next round of matches before finding out who they are going to be playing. Our second best of series had the top seeds from North America and EU in FlyQuest and G2 facing off. Expectations should be a good series, probably thinking a 2-1 that, depending on which side of the fandom you fall, depends which one you take. FlyQuest did 2-0 earlier on this year at MSI, but things wouldn't be the same this time around. FlyQuest would build a small lead over the course of the match that would not full tilt until after the 24-minute mark, when they would win a fight around Otacon, take the objective, and in the next 10 minutes roll their advantage to another Drake and Baron, where then they'd set up the siege at 37 minutes to take down the base of G2 and take the 1-0 lead. The second match of the series was a very slow start comparatively, neutral objectives being traded and handshook back and forth, First Blood not dropping until 13 minutes in for G2. And at that point, G2 would then continue to build the kill and gold lead. FlyQuest would get close to winning so many fights with slivers of health left for G2, but they would survive to tell the tale. FlyQuest do finally get their first kill at that 22-minute mark to almost add Hansama to it, but the lack of punishment on G2 let them get enough items and power to not be able to get taken down, and team composition lets them win their fights time and again. G2 would slow things down after a Baron power play just to make sure it's methodical, it's done right, secure the soul, bolster their lead, and they would eventually take the game to even the series up 1-1, putting us right where we expected to be, Game 3. Game 3 would echo Game 1, with trades and back-and-forth gameplay through the early stages, a full-fledged fight breaking out around Herald around 15 minutes that FlyQuest could just never get in position for. G2 would take that objective, a couple of kills to build just a slight lead. That's where they'd fall into the classic in-A-Ram trap. An engaged around mid lane saw the two teams scrapping for any picks that they could find, clawing for any advantage, unable to put anything together. G2 groups to force the play on Atacon had the positioning early to be able to take down FlyQuest as they would walk in to try to contest, and after that point, it's G2 working their way through. Start to see a little bit of action on the side lanes. We end up right back into mid lane, where G2 would get another kill on the carry, march down just a little bit closer to the FlyQuest base. Whippo does get a good flank around the 24-minute mark that would help FlyQuest track down the survivors in the G2 siege, getting some gold on a couple of kills, but probably not as much as they would have liked, until they move it into a Baron take on spawn to buy some time, run it right back to the in-A-Ram. A huge fight back and forth led to a stalemate of the two teams to just reset, call it quits, we'll try it again a little bit later, and that's exactly what would happen. 90 seconds later, after that reset, rinse and repeat. But this time around, G2 had the better setup. Caps lands a huge 4-man shockwave to stack FlyQuest together as they were gutted and absolutely lose everything, to include their base, because of that. G2 locks in the advancement to quarterfinals with their 2-1 series victory, and FlyQuest will join CFO to await their next series opponent. We now have 4 teams locked into quarterfinals. We are halfway home. We just have to whittle down the rest of the competition, and our next episode is going to do just that. We're going to highlight the next 4 best of 3s, where Secret Whales and MKOI are facing off, as well as Gen G and Top Esports are playing for their pass to quarters. On the bottom side, we do have 2 LTA teams that are on life support right now, with BLG taking on VKS and T1 against 100 Thieves, with the losers of those series going home. Let me know at all if you are surprised by CFO's grit and determination, if G2's come up was what we expected it to see as they bounce back from MSI to show up here at Worlds, and of course, the thing I'm most interested in, let me know how your pick'ems are doing. Are we even opening those anymore? Is it just so far gone that we've crumpled that one up, thrown it away, and we'll try again next year? If you're even still looking at what you have. If not, totally understandable. But until next time, we're just going to reset, recall, and as always, don't forget, buy more wards. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.